after it. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Let's Get It. I'm your host, Randy Dudkin, along with my host, Marcus Bullock and Jason Bryce. We come to you on a very historical Sunday evening. We have a new president-elect, Joe Biden, and the first ever female vice president, Kamala Harris, African-American vice president. Many changes are coming, and it's a very interesting time. I think a lot of people have taken a deep breath. I think there's a lot more rest and ease. I think we have a long road ahead moving forward, but it is a historical Sunday evening. How are you, gentlemen? Marcus, how are you, sir?
Doing well. You know, it was a long week with a lot of stuff you were talking about just now, and it's I don't know. I feel kind of re-energized and invigorated, I guess, to see what's going to happen moving forward. You know, I think there's a lot of positive things that can happen, but I feel good and I'm ready to go.
Absolutely. How about yourself, Jay?
Hey, you know what? I'm okay. I'll be honest with you. I'm in a little reflective mode. You know, unfortunately, I lost my grandfather this week. So, that's something that's weighing on the heart. But at the same time, I'm encouraged because he lived a full life, man. He was 97 years old. So, he definitely, established a legacy that, I hope and pray that I can aspire to. So, besides that, I'm doing all right, doing good, still corona-free, and, looking forward to a great show.
Yeah, absolutely, and my condolences go out to you.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
I think one of the things about when people are able to have such a successful life and have such an impact on their life as your grandfather did, you look at it as like a celebration. It's not a life taken too soon. It's an impact he had on many people. Sure. I know for myself, like I was very close to my grandfather too, both of my grandparents when they passed away. But you sit there and you're able to continue their legacy, keep them alive by the lessons they taught you. Like for me personally, both my grandfathers kind of embodied what I would like to be a family man, to be a leader. Sure. And, it was like and they both had their own different ways of doing it. So I think if you take, some lessons, like I'm sure you do from him, that it, it makes it a little easier.
Well, you know what? I have to just honestly admit, like, my grandfather, I'm sure his father, it had to be his father, because my grandfather is just to me, he's just a great man, you know what I mean? Like, he was a legendary jazz musician, played with all the different greats. In fact, we're going to play jazz tonight for a little bit, just to have it in the background, kind of soothe our minds down. I hope it doesn't calm me down when we talk about Carson, though.
Well, don't worry.
I don't want to be too relaxed.
You know what I'm saying? And if you didn't pay attention, last week I divulged, my secret affair with Carson. My attempted to secret affair with Carson, but
it's all good. And please give us an update if there were any more pictures or anything.
Has he replied or anything?
No, he hasn't replied yet. And Carson, if you're out there watching and listening, I did. I DM'd you on IG to let you know that I'm a fan. I was trying to get your attention, but
maybe try a different picture.
Right.
Maybe.
Right. Just put Ruffers in there. That's it.
That's it. But maybe.
It's all good though, man. Listen,
maybe I should put a picture of like me in another team's uniform, and he might pay attention to me. That's what he's been doing on the field.
Matter of fact, send a picture of you with Nick Foles jersey.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
There we go. There we go.
Nicky franchise.
Absolutely.
But I'll keep you updated on that. That's a week to week thing.
Yeah. So that's actually all I wanted to say. Like, he was a great man. My grandfather's father was a great man. It was led to him becoming a great man. My father's a great man. I'm just hoping that me and my brother, we just continue to strive and achieve and hopefully reach their greatness. That's what we're hoping for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've always been a jazz fan, actually. I remember when I was younger.
Really?
Always was 106.1 WJJZ. I would listen to that.
Okay.
So very often.
Oh, no.
Very often.
Okay.
Yeah,
find out. See, small things you understand.
So I was always a fan.
But didn't know that you were a photographer, and now you're a jazz man too. No.
I'm a jack of all trades. I'm a mover, a photographer.
That's right. That's right. Oh, that's right. No doubt.
Sometimes I can fix certain things.
Bargain shopper.
Bargain shopper. That's
bargain
right.
shopper.
That's
yes,
right.
absolutely.
That's right.
For our listeners, though, I would like to share this with our listeners. The Gloucester outlets down in Gloucester, The Haggard store is closing, and they have phenomenal deals going.
Yeah.
And everyone needs to get down there and get yourself some nice clothing. I just
There
wanted
it
to
is.
share that. I like to share good deals. It gets me excited
That's
to
right.
share that.
I think we might market you. That's what we might do. we might look out. We have to speak to Haggard because we giving them free plugs and everything. You know what I'm saying?
Sponsorship.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, listen, I'm
If they're
telling you,
closing,
I'm
we
telling-
might be in trouble.
Absolutely.
I know. Well, that's only that
But
store.
that store.
Only that store.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if anybody has connections with the Haggard, maybe they can start to, be a sponsor of, Let's Get It.
Let's get it.
So, but I just had to share that. So
No
get
doubt.
down there if you have a chance to get yourself some clothing. So, and all hit the Dollar Tree too on the way back, and just get yourself all the deals and
Don't
specials.
get no cheese though, because it don't melt. So,
Oh man, that's that government cheese like we always talk about.
no. Pause, because government cheese melted very well. Okay, I'm sorry. That's right.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, that was some of the best cheese. But anyway,
But the rubber cheese.
Yeah, that's synthetic cheese. It's plastic.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
It's all good,
like
though.
I said, we always have a great time. I
It's
hope
all good.
everyone enjoys watching. I know that to pick up from last week too. We had our guest Darnell Hightower, which was a phenomenal guest for us.
Yeah.
A young man from Cherokee High School, the captain of the football team. We were
Absolutely.
hoping to have a follow up to the big game against Lenape that week, but unfortunately it was
Yeah.
canceled due to COVID.
Yeah.
They are supposed to be rescheduling it, but again, shout out to Darnell,
Yep.
and very much appreciate him being on. He was a
Absolutely.
phenomenal guest and phenomenal young man moving forward. For
Right.
not just on the field but off the field too.
Right.
So
Right. And to see some of the things that he kind of displayed and used his platform for, and now that that's kind of not necessarily his directly, but he's part of all that social change and all that stuff. Now we got this historical Sunday that's going on, right, with a female vice president and all that stuff. So he's part of that contingent that's out there trying to fight for change too.
Right,
So
making change.
right, so that's just great for him.
Oh,
Very great for him.
it absolutely, it really is. But we
Yeah.
hope we get to follow up. Hope we have him back on the show at a later
Sure.
time. Maybe to get into the playoffs. But once again, we're battling coronavirus all over the place. I mean, we're seeing it, spread all over college sports. We're still seeing it spread all over the NFL. And like we talk about every week. I mean, even just, yesterday there was a big game between Clemson and Notre Dame, and Notre Dame's, beat them. Clemson's main quarterback was out. Don't get me wrong, their backup was no slouch. He showed up big time with 4 touchdowns. But, it's just like every time we watch any kind of game, whether it's professional, college, you look at it and I just still have to question, like, the validity of a lot of these games and how much we can really look at and say, like, the playing ground is the way it should be. I mean, I also I laugh because it's like, a guy's test positive on Thursday, and then on Sunday he's back on the field. And you go back to it, and even this last Thursday night really, really irritated me. Thursday night's game, between the Niners and the Packers, in my opinion, should never have been played. I mean, the amount of coronaviruses that were positive between the two teams prior to that game. I mean, on top of that, with the fact that after the game, there was the backup quarterback for the Packers tested positive, which means that he exposed how many players to the coronavirus. And again, it's just every single time I see this, I just say, you know what? It is not worth it. It is not worth it. Like we want, again, we love sports. We do this show, but we look at the bigger picture, and I still look at the bigger picture and wonder, is this really the right move? Marcus, what are your thoughts?
What I found crazy last night was, the Clemson Notre Dame game you were talking about. One, like you said, Trevor Lawrence isn't playing because he's tested positive last week or whatever it was. But they stormed the field. after the game.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. Absolutely.
So you have all these people, kids, I'm sure 99% of them are students, storming the field. So now there are already that many kids or people in the stands, and now everybody's jumping all on top of each other on the field. Now all those players are exposed to all those extra people from both teams. I know Brian Kelly, the Notre Dame coach, it came out, said that he told his team before the game, when we win this game, like a coach should do, you're preparing for the win. When we win this game, they're gonna storm the field and we're gonna sprint. We gotta sprint out of here, so that we're not, around all these people. And they said he was the first one in the locker room. And I'm like, I mean, you gotta protect your players.
Yeah, you gotta be the last one in the locker room. Actually,
You gotta be protecting your players. But like, just the fact that they're allowing that, people to storm the field. I mean, that's just dangerous.
And was that many players there? I'm sorry, it was that many players there where they so many. I mean, fans there where they were able to kind of.
Oh my God, the whole field was full.
You couldn't.
Wow.
They took an overhead picture of it. You couldn't see the field.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
you know how in college football, when there's an upset, you got
Right,
probably
sure.
20,000 people
Sure.
on the field,
Sure.
and it was full.
Yeah.
And all I could think about was, not granted, they were wearing masks. I will give them, a lot of the fans I saw were wearing masks,
Right.
but we're sitting there and people can't go see their loved ones at a funeral, but we got people storming the field.
Great
And
point.
it's like, it's so frustrating.
Right.
And it's still like, I love it. I love being able to watch football on a Sunday, football on a Saturday. But
Sure.
big picture, we're like,
Right.
we're just sitting here 2 steps
Right.
forward, 1 step back. 2 step
Right.
forward, 1 step back.
Yeah.
And
I think at this point we're taking 2 steps back. I
yeah.
think we're going the wrong way. Big
Yeah.
time.
We are. I mean, Texas just released today that they came out with 1 million positive cases.
But they didn't really necessarily, they were kind of late to the party though, right? As far
No, they
as, like,
were. Yeah, they were.
Their social distancing and
Right.
they didn't really. A lot of people down there. A lot of people, even people that I know very well. They kind of skeptical about some of the numbers and whether the validity of it and stuff like that. So that's probably why you see those numbers kind of going up. The sad thing is that the East Coast numbers are going up.
Oh
too.
yeah, I mean, just right here in Jersey.
And in Jersey, yeah.
I think one of the things that we're going to see some shutdowns coming again in the next week or 10 days. Like I
Yeah.
think some restrictions are going to be pulled back
Yeah.
because the numbers are rising again. But in relating it, go ahead.
I will say this, and not to, I don't want to give credence or credit to those individuals that do think that it's not necessarily real or whatever. But I will say this: when there's change in seasons, people do tend to get a little symptomatic with things that it could maybe look a little COVID-ish. Like if you're around me and you got like a runny nose and you sneezing, like get away from me.
You're getting a look.
Right.
You gotta look right away, and a removal of me from you. You know what I'm saying? So, but they could really be just allergies.
Yeah, I mean,
know what
it
I'm
could be
saying?
allergies. I mean, you got.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I got cat allergies. It could be that.
That's
I mean,
what I'm saying.
But,
It could be a lot of different things. So I don't want to say that that's the main reason that its numbers are spiking and people are just saying, "Hey, up COVID, up COVID, up COVID." I don't know, but it is something to kind of think about a little bit with the change. Because I think people really have been diligent with wearing masks. I at least I think so. I have to believe that.
They absolutely
right?
have. I think that you've seen it. You've seen it, and even a lot of the events that we were seeing at the players and opening events. We're seeing the mask being worn. We're seeing
Right.
every kind of even I'm seeing more face guards and face shields
Right.
in the NFL. A lot of the
Right.
coaches and a lot of the college coaches are starting to wear that.
Yeah, so
Like I said, it's just we look at it and we see the big like I said, look at the big picture. You got the
Right.
game like the other day, like I said, between the Niners and the Packers, and you got these guys who tested positive. It's like you and I, we've said it every show now for however long we've been dealing with COVID.
right.
You and I have to quarantine for 14 days if we're exposed to COVID.
Right.
But because you're an NFL player, you can all of a sudden 2 days later be clear and back on the field.
Just
Again.
keep testing until you're not positive.
Right. I mean,
Right.
yeah, that's what it sounds like.
That's
Right.
what it is.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
exactly
you know,
what it is.
But
But then at the same time, listen, we had somebody say that, listen, they tested positive and they went through some treatment or whatever, and they felt the best they felt in 20
right.
years. So I don't know.
Some people might be trying to get it. So
That's what I'm
they
saying.
Feel better.
Right, you know what I mean? So I don't know, man. But listen, everybody got to be safe out there. I know that much.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. And like I said, we'll see what's going on. Like I said, I just still think, like I said, every day I watch sports. I do it with kind of a little bit of skepticism, but I still
Right.
enjoy it.
Okay.
But with that said, I know last week also what we were coming on before the Eagles Cowboys. And
Danucci.
hey,
Danucci.
listen,
Danucci.
listen,
Danucci
you're a G-man.
Danucci.
All right, back in the race with a win today.
Well, again, beforehand, I was talking with Marcus, and we beat, who did we beat this?
The Washington football team.
So we kind of celebrated.
Who lost to the Washington football team? I know you want to say who lost to the Washington football team. Go ahead, Jay.
What, you just tell me who lost this.
Well, I know you get enjoyment.
Eagles.
The Eagles,
and,
right?
And the Cowboys, right? Didn't the Cowboys lose today?
Yes.
Right. But the G-men, Big Blue.
They're
That's
in the
all I'm saying.
NFC least.
Right. That's funny.
Still no expectation.
No, still no expectations. So
No.
for us to even be in the playoff hunt, I think it's okay.
Well, I think it's
No,
fun.
it's okay for you guys to be in the hunt, but it's not okay for us to be in first.
Again, y'all have expect. Well, you're not a fan.
No, but no. Here's
You're not
the
a
thing,
fan. You're not a fan, man.
You know,
so you
I,
can't.
yeah, no. Last week too, you did question his fandom.
No, we're not. No, he articulated
We'll
his
get to that.
reasoning of what it was.
We can get to that later.
You know, yeah. I mean, the thing is, and look, but you got to look at every team, and you're right. Like you look at the Eagles, and we talk about they came away with the win last week.
Sure.
I mean, you know, it wasn't pretty.
He played horrible, though.
He did.
I-
Carson played horrible. I don't want to.
Now who did Danucci outplay him?
No, Danucci was terrible.
Danucci was
Danucci he got benched
terrible.
this week.
Yeah,
And coming into the
He
game, the
didn't
Cowboys
get
were beating the
second
Steelers.
Yeah, but okay, how much further was he from Danucci?
Okay, you can't even. It's not
Well,
even.
I think
fair
that
to
goes back to, no, in all seriousness, that goes back to your expectations. So you're expecting Carson to do these great things. You're expecting little from Danucci. So when Carson doesn't meet his expectations and Danucci does what he's supposed to do, which is nothing, it kind of makes it seem similar. I think that comes down to expectations.
Right, but Carson is getting paid them big bucks to have that.
That's-
right.
but that's your
So you're right.
expectations.
You're right.
I
right.
mean,
He's
yeah.
a, what was he? $150 man?
Yeah, 150 million.
$150 million.
Yeah.
$150 million man, and he played a little better than Danucci.
Well, no, I mean let's not go over the top here. I mean he played a lot better than Danucci.
But not a whole lot better. I mean,
I think if there was an NFL quarterback on the Cowboys,
We
that
would've been
game,
in trouble.
They lost. The Eagles would
I
have
agree.
Okay.
I agree.
lost.
I think if Tony Romo came out of the booth, they would
Yeah, I
have
think if
lost.
they had, you know,
When did y'all separate? Y'all separated what? The third quarter, right?
Yeah.
Right. Third
Yeah.
quarter towards the end, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the first half of that game was
First
too
half,
close for
The
comfort.
two coaches, right? Exactly.
And the defense is what really helped them through. I mean, Carson had some great plays, you know, but Carson is playing horrendous. Carson was half the reason that the Eagles were where they were last weekend. And, you know, as far as struggling with the Cowboys, I mean, multiple interceptions. The guy has hold on to the ball for too long. I mean, I'm a Carson supporter, but the more and more that he's playing this year, I'm really starting to build some skepticism about what are you moving forward.
You starting to build it? Why? I'm wondering why it hasn't been
Because
built
I'm
already.
going to support my quarterback. That's my quarterback. As T.O. would say, that's my quarterback.
Okay. I'd have been got rid of him, like
Well, you know, and here's the thing, though, and I'm hearing more and more talk, and like even this week with the bye week, you know, there's all there really is to discuss is Carson's performance. Where do we go from here, whatnot, and like I've hearing rumors of, you know, what do the Eagles do? Like I said, after next year they have an out, so really it's like, you know,
Okay.
they have the rest of this year to evaluate him, which, you know, we'll see what happens. But do they look to trading him? Do they look to see if there's a team that they can move him to? I mean, I know there's, you know, like the Colts who need a quarterback. You know, they and Frank Reich, who was, you know, with Carson here during his success as the head coach there, that doesn't make. I'll tell you one thing, it makes some sense. It really does. And you know, I'll let you guys jump in on this, but I'm really starting to think that Carson's mojo is kind of broken here in Philly.
Mojo.
who do you think?
Mojo. Oh God! Like he won something. I'm sorry, Coach. Go
You know
ahead,
what?
man. He didn't win nothing,
Yes, he
yo.
did. We can
He
go into
won.
that
What
again.
did he win?
We
He
can go
won
into that
nothing,
again.
man. He
Yeah,
won
okay,
nothing,
go ahead.
man. But
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, Coach. My bad, yo. He won nothing.
Every show, I'll go in with you every day. I'll go in with it
He
every
didn't
time.
win nothing.
Go
That's
ahead,
why
Coach.
Mojo.
Who do you think? Who do you think? So do you think, from Randy, from the way you're talking right now, it seems like you're gonna get rid of Carson before you would get rid of Doug Peterson.
See, that's
Because
a tough
I think-
question.
I don't
that's
think
great.
because I don't like, you know, I feel like, and a lot of times the quarterback's tied to the coach or what, but I
Right.
don't think that's the case in this situation.
Mm-mm.
So I think one of them is going to go obviously before the other. Who's gonna?
If you look at it like that, I would say that right now Doug earned going before Carson. And I know, here we go. Jay's going to say, you know, the guy that brought you the championship. But without the support around Doug, it's shown that he does not make the decisions. He's not a good game manager, and he, as a coach, he's looking scared, and he's looking like he's on his heels every play. So, I mean, that makes a very good point about getting rid of the coach before you get rid of the quarterback. But you look at, like I said, you look at that out after
Comes
next
out
year. So you say like,
contracts.
okay, we have that contract,
Right.
because because I think like I said, in that next year you're going to figure out what we're going to do, whether he's going to be traded, whether going to opt out of the contract. And I'm not saying that Jalen Hurts is the answer. I don't know if he is or isn't. But you make a very good point that I think that you got to say Doug starts at the top, and Doug has not delivered as a coach. So I kind of agree with you there.
I agree. I definitely agree with that. I mean, I think it even starts at Howie, but I don't think.
Oh,
he's,
yeah,
I don't think
absolutely.
he's going anywhere. But no, I just think it's interesting because I don't know. I don't think Carson's playing well at all. But I still think a lot of it has to do with the coach. I think I think it goes hand in hand. So I mean, I think if you have a good coach, he can improve a quarterback, and I think a quarterback can improve a coach, and I think that's what we're saying with Tom Brady.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just interesting to see because I don't think Doug is coaching well. I don't think something's working and you don't see it again the rest of the game. But Carson's not playing well at all either. So I mean, it's just interesting to see. I mean, I guess it shows you how far away the Eagles are.
They are. I mean, and I know Jay, you had to so jump on it because I know you.
Oh, I'm not sure. I mean, it really shows how far Carson and Doug are apart too. But at the same time, I mean, listen, this is, he brought a championship. You know what I'm saying? So he's going to go down definitely. Excuse me, definitely down in Philadelphia Eagle Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? Doug Peterson.
Yeah, absolutely.
Carson won't.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I meant to say this last week. You said that Doug Peterson was the best coach in Eagles history because he brought a championship, right?
We've had this conversation many
No,
times.
hold on. I just have to. Andy Reid won a championship, right?
No.
No, with the
Chiefs.
The Chiefs.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
So it's not his coaching that was the problem, because he's proven he can win a championship.
Players. What you say.
I don't know. I mean, listen. It ain't like he left Philly and went to the Chiefs and won right away. No, I mean it took some time. So I think that he kind of maybe had to evolve a little bit, and you know what I'm saying. I mean, listen. I mean, Andy Reid's a great coach. I'm not going to say and debate that. He's a good coach. I'm just saying that Doug Peterson. I disagree with the game plan. I mean, he's on commercials all around our region talking about it takes a team of people to help him coach and stuff like that. So I believe that he has a team around him. I just think that Carson's not getting the job done. You know what I mean? And coach, you coach. So, you put players in the game, and when they ain't getting the job done, you go get another player, right? So we had Doug, Nick Foles, right? Foles.
Wait,
Nick,
I'm not. No, stop this weed. This is not. No weed. Do not align yourself with the Philadelphia team.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, y'all
Thank
had Nick Foles, right?
Yes.
Okay. So he came in and he got the job done. He actually deserves some of Carson's money. I'm just saying though, but it's the truth though. Carson got paid.
You know what? And
Carson got paid off of his work
Nick got his
though.
money.
He got paid off of his work. Carson's fraudulent. He's fraudulent. I'm saying he never won. He's my mojo. What mojo?
Listen, you
What
can't
did he
tell me
do?
that Carson never won anything. Again,
What did he win?
I will go. First of all, he's a Super Bowl champion.
Come on, dog.
Carson is a Super Bowl champion.
He was eating popcorn, son. He was
you
on the
gotta understand
sideline.
this. But here's the thing: without the
He was
play
going
of
to get the
Carson,
hot
the Eagles
dogs
don't
and-
get to the Super Bowl.
Yo, listen.
Without the play of Carson, the Eagles don't get to the Super
He
Bowl.
was refilling the pickle juice. Come on. Come on.
Pickle juice is delicious.
It's salty though.
It is, but it's good. It does. It is good.
No,
But no, if the Eagles don't go 11-3 and get home field advantage, they don't get to the Super Bowl, in my opinion. So I still think that Carson had a huge role in taking that team to the Super Bowl. So you really can't put it down. Again, 11-3, on his way to an MVP.
I've never heard nobody get $150 million.
I don't think they had a choice. That's the thing.
When
They
you're-
didn't have a choice. And
when
that goes
you're
back.
on your way to an MVP.
But the thing is, they
You're
didn't have.
on your way to this.
But they didn't have a choice because it
had a
goes,
choice.
No, you didn't,
You
because
had
it
a
goes
choice.
back, and we talk about this all the time. It goes back.
They
to
had a
the-
choice.
No, it doesn't. And let me finish.
And he not
We
playing
go
no
back-
Meek Mills. Carson playing no. Nick Foles playing Meek Mills up in Chicago. He bringing that mojo.
Guess what?
What's Carson
Nick Foles
doing?
is in there playing.
What's Carson doing? Carson counting his money like, yo, I'm getting my money. I'm going back to Woodstown. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man.
No, but you see, the thing is, but you had no choice because Howie backed the Eagles into a corner by as much as he gave up for Carson in the draft in 2016. Is that you couldn't just get rid of him after 4 years. You couldn't. Like, you couldn't just say, okay, we drafted this guy for 4 years. So they had no choice but to give him the market value for quarterbacks. Now, they could have franchised him, but they still would have been paying more money if they franchised him than to give him a whole contract. So they really backed themselves in the corner. So, again, it goes back to what Marcus said. Howie Roseman has been a struggle as a developer of this team. So,
I mean,
but with that said, we let's
let
see what
him go.
happens.
Let him. I guess the question was, who do you choose, Carson or Dougie?
All right,
I'm going.
Carson.
Carson has to go.
No,
I'm keeping Doug Peterson because he brought the championship home without Carson and with Nicky Foles. Come on, bye Carson.
Okay, Marcus, what would you do?
At this point right now, I think I would get rid of Carson. I would go
Come
Carson.
on.
Oh, and I'm not a. I
And
don't
with
think
that, we have the end
I
of
don't
the Let's Get It show. It's been a great night.
No, I listen. I don't think Doug's doing a great job, but I think Carson. They just don't mix. I feel like Carson's just doing his own thing sometimes. Like,
That's right. Doing what he wants
he's
to
doing
do.
his own thing. It's just not.
No,
it's not
I mean,
working.
look, I can't say that. Like again, you know how much I love Carson, and I've been a fan of him,
Oh,
even
no.
though he didn't respond to my DM.
We know now.
You know,
we really know.
We found out.
Right,
We know a whole
right.
other
We
level.
really know.
It'll be like that movie. What was it? Ace Ventura when he had
Okay.
the Ray Finkel
Oh,
all
yeah, Ray
over his
Finkel.
wall. But it's
That's
just
right.
it's frustrating because, again, I just think that he has lost his mojo. If we got rid of Carson, I wouldn't. I think the Eagles are at a point where they are at a crossroad. They have to make a decision, and right now he's not doing a lot to help himself out. But we'll see how things go. With that said, we'll be back right after this to talk more about the Sixers, a little bit about the basketball restart. You're listening and watching the Let's Get It. We'll be right back after this.